A vast dark world where countless creatures struggled to survive. We finally won, we finally completely eliminated this destructive level terror. Out of the 7 destructive level terrors, we have finally eliminated one. This is a new beginning. The 3 remaining powerful cultivators were quite relieved, and many creatures far behind at the base were even more excited and cheered. As long as we pass down the torch generation by generation, we will eventually eliminate these terrors, and our world will regain light, regain freedom. Countless creatures were filled with longing for the light. Whoosh. Suddenly, a huge blood-red eye opened in the dark sky. This scene made the hearts of countless creatures tremble. It's the Dark Eye. Heavenly Dao Level Terror, Dark Eye. The creatures were terrified. According to their categorization, among the many terrors invading their world, the one at the very top was called the Heavenly Dao Level Terror, the Dark Eye. When this eye first opened in the sky, the entire world was plunged into everlasting darkness. They still had the confidence to fight against destructive level terrors, but facing the supreme Heavenly Dao Level Terror Dark Eye, they only felt powerless. The more they knew, the more they understood the vast gap. The Heavenly Dao has changed, the Heavenly Dao has become the Dark Eye. As the powerful cultivators comprehended the Heavenly Dao, they discovered the Heavenly Dao had changed, and even the ultimate direction of their own cultivation could only lead to this Dark Eye. Thankfully, in the past long years, the Dark Eye indeed acted like the Heavenly Dao, treating everything equally. The Dark Eye emitted a beam of red light, which enveloped a city like a pillar from heaven. The city was instantly revitalized, its energy surged dramatically, transforming into a majestic twisted creature that knelt in salutation. Illusion City, has it evolved into a destructive level terror? In the rear base, countless creatures who sensed the scene despaired. They had just managed to kill one destructive level terror, and now another one had appeared? 7 destructive level terrors? It is decreed. Inside the base, a powerful cultivator sensed the operation of the Heavenly Dao and murmured, "The Dark Eye is the Heavenly Dao. The Heavenly Dao decrees there will forever be 7 destructive level terrors. Eliminating one will only lead to another taking its place. No matter how we struggle, it's futile." Decreed. The many creatures that fought for this were in despair. Suddenly, the Dark Eye in the high sky emitted a mournful howl. No. This mournful howl of the Heavenly Dao Level Terror resounded in the hearts of every creature in the world, and they all felt the Dark Eye's fear, reluctance. Afterward, the Dark Eye in the high sky silently vanished without a trace. And the sky, as if a massive dark curtain was removed, showed its true form. Warm sunlight. After a long stretch of ages, it shone on this land once again, and brightness was restored between heaven and earth. What is this? Accustomed to the light condensed by formations, many creatures were touching real sunlight for the first time in their lives. They were fascinated by the legendary light. Light spread throughout the entire world. The Heavenly Dao Level Terror Dark Eye has disappeared. The Heavenly Dao has returned to normal, said a powerful cultivator comprehending the Heavenly Dao excitedly. Although the 7 destructive level terrors are still there under the sunlight, their territories have significantly shrunk. The world has changed, it has changed. Treasure Land Infinite Space. Using the ultimate realm God King Will's secret technique, I can finally eliminate the most ordinary spiritual beings. LuoFeng was quite satisfied, watching the blood-red one-eyed monster before him completely vanish. Spiritual beings, once their spirits are destroyed, are completely gone. LuoFeng in this spiritual being had also reached a total of 10 reward points. If it were a mere severe defeat in multiple instances, the accumulated reward points would generally just pass 5 points. These spiritual beings in infinite space, relying solely on spiritual power, can reach the godly king level. I wonder from where Yuan obtained these spiritual beings when he established this treasure land. LuoFeng privately marveled. Spiritual beings, there are none in the land of origin. According to intelligence, those with the will of the ultimate realm God King are hoped to completely kill them, thought LuoFeng. It seems those strong ones must have obtained quite powerful secret techniques of willpower. In the infinite space treasure vault alone, there are inheritances containing secret techniques of willpower. These inheritances might not compare to the Lai Yuan technique, but the gap is obviously narrowing. As my strength increases, the layers I come into contact with are getting higher. I might even encounter secret techniques of willpower that are comparable to the Lai Yuan technique, LuoFeng mused privately. Look at those inheritances in the infinite space treasure vault, such as the special grade inheritance World Life Form, which was created by Yuan's good friend. What about those perfection level inheritances? If this level of inheritance specializes in will, how strong must it be? Lai Yuan technique, after all, is only one of many opportunities Yuan left in the land of origin. LuoFeng also reminded himself not to be arrogant. For example, Emperor Ming bestowed upon him the Calamity Beast diagram, which concealed a method of will cultivation that Emperor Ming created himself. LuoFeng felt it was not inferior to the Great Destruction Heart Refining Technique, within the Lai Yuan technique, and of course, the power of the Great Destruction Heart Refining Technique also depended on the realm of LuoFeng's Great Tao of Destruction origin. I have 3 spiritual beings in infinite space. The 2 weaker ones have died, leaving only one strong one, LuoFeng thought. I should go find new spiritual beings. LuoFeng left an avatar, guarding that one strong spiritual being. This strong spiritual being LuoFeng could not eliminate. It probably required a prolonged confrontation. LuoFeng sent 9 avatars flying in all directions, heading to various remote areas to explore and search for new prey. Luo He, leave quickly, came the command. This is our territory. Invisible waves of thought emitted one warning after another. In the infinite space, areas rich in prey had long been occupied by ancient beings. Although they recognized him as Great Saint Luo He, they had never paid him any mind. Even Luo He, the top figure of the primal chaos realm, has no influence here. LuoFeng laughed self-deprecatingly as he flew. In the real world, LuoFeng held a very high status and many powerful beings respected him. But in the infinite space, a coveted sanctuary left behind by Yuan, the threshold to enter was exceedingly high. Aside from the monarchs of the 2 great imperial clans, those who could come here were usually sovereigns of the land of origin. For instance, even a godly king of the first realm like Wuxiang ancestor found it extremely difficult to secure a place here. And for those even weaker? Only the 2 great imperial clans would allow ordinary godly kings and transcended beings of the primal chaos realm to enter. As royalty they gathered together, a formidable faction in the infinite space. 19 great Daos of origin are sealed in the infinite space, so using godly king level techniques here requires forging a new great Dao, thought LuoFeng. Here, even emperors and monarchs, if they haven't forged a new great Dao, might be weaker and can only rely on spiritual will to confront enemies. This was also the reason Wuxiang ancestor was so confident in facing LuoFeng. In the infinite space, being able to deploy a godly king-level secret technique already made one a master. To forge a complete branch of a great Dao? That counted as an ultimate master. To reach the second realm of godly king by forging a great Dao? Unheard of. At least, Emperor Chu's intelligence given to LuoFeng had no such records. Luo He. Suddenly a thought touched LuoFeng. LuoFeng looked up and saw a figure in a loose white robe in the distance. Diwu, the godly king. LuoFeng recognized him. This was a godly king from Emperor Chu's Diwu lineage, considered a very strong existence even among those in the first realm of godly king. I didn't expect to see Great Saint Luo He here. Diwu, the godly king, smiled as he looked at LuoFeng. Logically speaking, my flame-wind ancient country wouldn't possibly give you a spot. Where did you get your quota from? It's not from flame-wind ancient country, LuoFeng said. I know. What I'm asking is, where did your quota come from? Diwu pressed. Or did Emperor Chu deliberately bend the rules to privately get a token and pass it to you? Are you defaming my master? LuoFeng's expression darkened. Who doesn't know how Emperor Chu operates? Diwu sneered coldly. LuoFeng no longer held any goodwill. How could LuoFeng maintain a polite facade when his master was targeted in such a way? However, the feud between Diwu's lineage and Emperor Chu's lineage was notoriously bad, with frequent conflicts accumulating countless grievances over the long years. Young brother Wu Xiao. A figure flew over from afar, a man in gray robes with white hair, who glanced at LuoFeng. So it's Luo He. Luo He, hurry up and leave. This is the territorial domain of the Flame-Wind Ancient Country's Imperial clan, not a place for you, the white-haired man scolded. Yan Qiong, the godly king. LuoFeng recognized him, said no more and turned to fly away. Yan Qiong, a second-realm godly king. In the Flame-Wind Ancient Country's Imperial clan, he was among the core members. Naturally, he had the audacity not to care even if he were facing the Lord of the Wanja Kingdom, or the Sector Beast of Qinmu Kingdom. No wonder my master advised me, unless personally invited by the primogenitor Yan Feng, there's no need to join the Flame-Wind Ancient Country. LuoFeng sighed inwardly. Those who treat newcomers kindly are indeed few. As the Imperial clan's godly kings clustered together, monopolizing the vast majority of resources and giving but a small portion to the hard-working guest elder godly kings, LuoFeng could understand. Yet this sense of discrimination and exclusion was indeed quite unpleasant for LuoFeng. And this was without fully joining. If he fully joined, the restrictions would increase greatly. He would have to be at the beck and call of these Imperial clan godly kings, becoming their lackey. This Luo He, no need to pay too much attention to him, said the white-haired man Yan Qiong, the godly king, glancing at LuoFeng in the distance. Even if he becomes a godly king, he's merely invincible within the first realm of godly king. He can't impact our Imperial clan in the slightest. I'm suspicious about his quota, Diwu, the godly king, said. He, a mere transcendent of the primal chaos realm, can't possibly have 50 million merit points. So how did he get the quota? I suspect it was gotten by Emperor Chu clandestinely and given to Luo He. Oh. The expression of Yan Qiong, the godly king, changed subtly. It's quite possible. Emperor Chu does indeed act recklessly. As a member of the Imperial clan, not wholeheartedly considering the clan, he frequently helps those outside the clan. I will consult with the Emperor and investigate this matter. Yan Qiong's eyes flashed coldly. We must clarify how he obtained his quota. If it was indeed given privately by Emperor Chu, he cannot be let off lightly. The eyes of Yan Qiong, the godly king, bore a cold hardness. He had become a godly king much earlier than Emperor Chu. Emperor Chu and Emperor Yan Qiong had also clashed many times, with Emperor Yan Qiong, a being next only to Emperor Yan in the Emperor Yan lineage, always eager for battle. Discovering any fault in Emperor Chu, Yan Qiong, the godly king, would certainly pursue it relentlessly. If we confirm this matter? Wu Xiao, the godly king, looked forward eagerly. It's a rule set by the ancestor. If Emperor Chu makes a mistake, he must be punished. As for Luo He? First, he must be expelled from the infinite space, depriving him of this opportunity, and moreover, he must be severely punished, said Yan Qiong, the godly king. It's a joke that a mere guest official of the primal chaos realm could enter. Flame Wind Ancient Country, Yan Capital. Yan Capital is the city of the first emperor of the Flame Wind Ancient Country, Emperor Yan. Here there is also another palace called Yan Qiong Palace, where Emperor Yan and Yan Qiong are both ancient godly kings of the entire imperial clan. Both followed similar paths, but Yan Qiong has always been stuck in the second realm of godly king, unable to advance further. In the depths of the ancient Yan Qiong Palace, a vast world had been created. Within this vast world, this world had numerous volcanoes and even more raging black winds. The black winds swept countless magma up into the sky, scattering it recklessly. This Luo He, the entire mainland of this world, suddenly sat upright, taking on a humanoid form of an exotic beast. His back had numerous volcanoes, his nostrils naturally breathed out fierce black winds, and his golden eyes displayed even more terrifying might. On the world's membrane, countless secret patterns circulated, and formless energy descended time after time, cleansing this massive exotic beast's body. A guest official of the primal chaos realm, also worthy to enter the infinite space? The massive exotic beast's golden eye blazed with anger. Emperor! Emperor! The massive exotic beast spoke directly. Upon the world's membrane, countless secret patterns circulated, naturally condensing into a figure, who was the contemporary emperor of the Flame Wind Ancient Country, Emperor. Emperor looked at this massive exotic beast and sighed inwardly, then spoke, Brother Yan Qiong, what brings you to me? I encountered Luo He in the infinite space. The voice of the massive exotic beast thundered, its might far greater than in the infinite space. He, a non-imperial clan member of the primal chaos realm, how did he enter the infinite space? I suspect Emperor Chu has violated the rules set down by the ancestor. You have misunderstood Luo He. Emperor said, he earned this opportunity by his own strength. He, having transcended the primal chaos realm, how could he possibly earn such an opportunity on his own? The massive exotic beast said. Your true body has been imprisoned here, solely focusing on refining the primordial bloodline, and you understand too little of the outside world, Emperor said. I have always kept up with information about powerful beings from the outside world. What could I possibly not know? The massive exotic beast retorted. Emperor gently shook his head. A century ago, Luo He had continuously contested for some natural treasures at the border. It forced the Thunder Ancient Country to allocate him a spot to enter the infinite space in exchange for Luo He not participating in the border conflicts. With his absolute top strength in transcending the primal chaos realm, continuously participating in those conflicts would have been too much for the Thunder Ancient Country to bear, Emperor said. So, he indeed seized this opportunity by his own merits. The massive exotic beast fell silent. So that was it? The negotiations between the Thunder Ancient Country and LuoFeng were very secretive and were never made public. By his own merits? The massive exotic beast sneered. He was only able to participate in the border conflicts by using his status as a guest elder of our Flame Wind Ancient Country. That's the only reason he could make the Thunder Ancient Country suffer such a great loss. If he were a stray guest official of the primal chaos realm from outside our Flame Wind Ancient Country, he wouldn't even have the qualifications to participate in those conflicts. Using the identity of our Flame Wind Ancient Country's guest elder to gain such benefits, shouldn't he have handed over his spot to the Imperial clan? At most, give him some rewards, the massive exotic beast said. Emperor fell silent, looking at this formerly wise and influential former elder of their clan. Brother Yan Qiong, haven't you noticed how deeply the primordial bloodline has influenced you? Emperor said. I use a formation to suppress the contamination for you, yet you are still so volatile? Without the formation's aid, you might have lost control entirely. In the Flame Wind Ancient Country, those who cultivated the primordial bloodline were said to have never lost control outwardly. In reality, those who weren't sufficiently lucid were never released. I am very lucid, the massive exotic beast looked at Emperor. We are the Imperial clan, our Imperial clan should dominate the best resources of the land of origin. We allow guest officials opportunities to exchange for heritage and resources, which is already quite generous. Giving them such freedom? In my view, guest officials who enter the treasure lands should follow the commands of our Imperial clan. Ordinary guest officials all have sufficient freedom, Emperor said. You should know the guest official system was established by the ancestor. Just because the ancestor established it, does it mean it cannot be changed? Rules set by the ancestor eons ago are always right. The massive exotic beast raged. Emperor's expression grew colder. The massive exotic beast was alarmed, realizing his recklessness. Emperor, I once helped you, the massive exotic beast looked at Emperor. Brother Yan Qiong, I have always remembered your kindness, hence I have always been helping you, Emperor said. I helped you build this world, I have given you many treasure resources, always hoping you could really remain lucid. I still need. The massive exotic beast began to speak. You already owe a lot to our clan, Emperor declined. Originally, you borrowed a tremendous amount of resources, aiming for the Emperor level. But you failed and you couldn't repay the vast resource debt. Still you keep demanding more. Brother Yan Qiong, you should understand. The Imperial clan isn't just you. Resources can't be given to you alone. Willing to give to Luo He and these guest officials? Unwilling to give me more? the massive exotic beast was resentful and furious. Being perpetually imprisoned, naturally, was a bitter experience. "You owe a lot to our clan," Emperor said. "Whereas Luo He and these guest officials, they all exchanged based on their merit points, and they don't owe our clan anything. I remind you again, the guest official system was established by the two ancestors together. It absolutely does not tolerate your questioning." Emperor looked at the massive exotic beast. "You should also understand, in the eyes of the ancestor, your life and death, and the life and death of a guest official, probably make no difference." The massive exotic beast grew even more enraged. "You certainly knew. The Imperial clan members fought within the land of origin, and some godly kings had fallen. The ancestor never intervened. Hone your heart well, you can consult Emperor Ming more. If your spiritual will could catch up to even 2 or 3% of Emperor Ming's, you would have been able to suppress this corruption and maintain absolute clarity, becoming the new emperor," Emperor Chu said. "In this era of reincarnation throughout the land of origin, when it comes to spiritual will, Emperor Ming is ranked first. Bowing before him is no disgrace." "I have already bowed and asked him for guidance." The massive exotic beast grew more furious. "But he humiliates me time and again, making me serve him, making me his attendant, making me a gatekeeper's servant. How can I endure it?" "You once humiliated him too," Emperor Chu said. "That was when he was weak," the massive exotic beast said. "In his view you are weak now," Emperor Chu said. "Reflect well. In my view your only chance to become an emperor is to consult Emperor Ming." Having said that, Emperor Chu vanished. "Haha, consult him? Even if I am forever imprisoned or even if I end in destruction, I will not suffer his humiliation again." The massive exotic beast became even more frenzied. Emperor Chu was in a world he had created himself. The Imperial clan, despite receiving excessive favor from the ancestor, still feels what they have is not enough. Even the little given to guest officials they still want to take away. Emperor Chu shook his head lightly. "This foolish lot. Do they really think the ancestor cares for them? The ancestor existed several reincarnation eras ago. How could one feel much affection for descendants several reincarnation eras apart?" Emperor Chu shook his head lightly. "The treasure land, infinite space." LuoFeng did not care about the overbearing nature of the Imperial clan, instead he kept his distance. Thankfully it is in the infinite space, where everyone's ability isn't much different. Out there. I'm afraid they would have slapped me with a flick of their hand, LuoFeng thought to himself with a smile. According to his intel, Yan Qiong Godly King is a very ancient second realm of Godly King. It is said that he also began cultivating a primordial bloodline, coupled with the resources of the Imperial clan and weapon secret treasures. His strength is unimaginable. But the Yan Qiong Godly King is very low-key in the land of origin, hardly appearing. Many ancient beings are hard to meet outside, but you can encounter quite a few in the infinite space. LuoFeng found the infinite space very interesting. In the infinite space, everyone is endowed with an ordinary emperor-level physical body. Want a stronger physical body? One needs to pave one's own path in cultivation, but so far no one in the infinite space has been known to have paved the path to the second realm of Godly King. Therefore, everyone's physical body is generally at the first realm of Godly King level. It's just the spiritual will, there might be some big differences. Emperor Ming's spiritual will is truly frightening. LuoFeng couldn't help but think of Emperor Ming. During his long stay in the infinite space, Emperor Ming's spiritual will was the only one he was certain definitely surpassed the ultimate realm of Godly King. Vast and superior, that is a qualitative difference. LuoFeng suddenly sensed a spiritual being ahead. Lucky day, I found one. LuoFeng had his 9 avatars exploring, going wherever it was remote. He didn't mind the scarcity, as long as he discovered a spiritual being. He immediately ordered an avatar to occupy the area. An avatar occupying a single spiritual being wouldn't attract major forces' envy. But in reality, the total number of spiritual beings occupied by LuoFeng's multiple avatars scattered across different locations was quite substantial. Of course, this kind of thing could only be done with multiple avatars. In the infinite space, newly paved paths that could also deploy avatars were still very rare. East Extreme Domain within an ancient grand palace. A woman in green robes sat there, the palace naturally displaying a vast formation. Countless secret patterns flowing within it, constantly changing. Emperor Chu is truly remarkable. Merely by using formations he has reached the level of emperor. I pale in comparison, the green-robed woman admired. She suddenly looked at a changing secret pattern within the formation. Oh? This secret sequence is finally deduced. Wuxiang Godly King had shouted the name Luo He in the palace, and coincidentally disappeared from the infinite space. His disappearance is related to Luo He, the mist envoy, in the Shadow Sky realm died, and the cause was also on Luo He. The Lord of Shadow Sky Realm actually endured it? No follow-up tremors? This Luo He is not ordinary. The green-robed woman observed the formation. Many traces on the land of origin could be reflected through the formation, many mysteries deduced. The more she reflected, the more accurate the deductions became. Perhaps I could invite him to join my side? The thought arose in the green-robed woman. She immediately used the formation for deduction, and saw the formation reflecting the world, as if showing the future evolution of the world. Although I can't see it clearly, it seems to be a wonderful decision. This Luo He appears to also be favored by the supreme rules. The green-robed woman was somewhat surprised. She had long known that the supreme rules also had their favorites. The more dazzling the cultivator, the more they are favored. Even beings like sector beasts, born favored, could smoothly reach the ultimate realm of godly king, and even more so by destroying and devouring, grow faster. Ordinary cultivators start very ordinary, but gradually among them the dazzling ones are sifted out. Being favored by the supreme rules, even more reason to invite him. The thought arose in the green-robed woman's mind, while she remained in place, a thought already remotely arriving at Yan, capital of Flame Wind ancient country in Xiangjie City. Inside Xiangjie City, everything had turned dull and gray, countless creatures had lost their life force, living like puppets. The woman in green was the only splash of color in this world as she walked through the city, carefully observing everything. Although I have also learned quite a bit of information about Luo He, it is still clearer to see it with my own eyes. The woman in green arrived at the garrison mansion, somewhat surprised. Luo He really conceals his life force tightly. As I walked by, I couldn't see any trace of his past. A transcendence of primal chaos realm, his concealment of life force is more powerful than many in the first realm of godly king, the woman in green admired. Indeed, the land of origin possessed some abilities to peer into the past, but while peering into the past of ordinary people was easy, it became more difficult with the stronger the individual. The woman in green was capable of observing the majority of those in the first realm of godly king. The space-time around her twisted. The woman in green instantly returned from the past to the present, and everything around her regained its color, becoming vivid. This timeline was the one where countless creatures truly existed. Great Saint Luo He, the woman in green stood outside the garrison mansion, smiling as she spoke. Her voice naturally transmitted inside, and the guards at the entrance of the garrison mansion couldn't see the woman in green standing before them at all. Inside the garrison mansion, LuoFeng was enjoying drinks and a casual chat with Morosa, who had just finished digesting a godly king's body, feeling quite content. Great Saint Luo He, a voice echoed around them. LuoFeng and Morosa both jolted. Only at this moment had they noticed the woman in green outside the garrison mansion. Morosa was secretly astonished and transmitted a message. Master, I can easily sense the vast surroundings of Xiangjie City. I should be able to detect any strong individual approaching, but I had absolutely no awareness of her. After all, she is the Empress of Fongdu, from the East Extreme Domain. LuoFeng realized who the woman in green at the garrison mansion was and naturally knew her identity. Her strength should be close to that of a pinnacle sector beast, right? Morosa communicated telepathically. More or less, LuoFeng guessed as well. You go back first, I'll meet with her. LuoFeng personally made his way to the entrance of the garrison mansion. The guards at the entrance likewise couldn't see LuoFeng. When LuoFeng walked outside, he looked at the woman in green standing there, who seemed to stand apart from the entire world. Luo He pays respects to the Empress of Fongdu. LuoFeng bowed slightly. To create a secret technique and become absolutely the first in the primal chaos realm, the woman in green looked at LuoFeng and praised with a smile. Indeed extraordinary. It's been a long time since such an impressive junior has appeared in the land of origin. LuoFeng replied with a smile. No matter how impressive, I'm still just someone from the primal chaos realm. Won't you invite me to sit inside? The woman in green asked with a smile. Please, LuoFeng said. He immediately led the way. Given the friendly demeanor of the Empress of Fongdu, LuoFeng naturally reciprocated with warmth. In the garrison mansion, within a pavilion for receiving guests, they sat opposite each other. LuoFeng personally poured wine for her. The Empress of Fongdu, one of the 12 emperors from the natives of the East Extreme Domain, and terrifyingly powerful, LuoFeng understood the information about her well. The natives had occupied most of the land of origin in the earliest times. The natives were the sovereigns of the land of origin. At that time, the two ancient countries had very sparse clans and occupied only a very remote and small part of the land. Back then, among the natives that dominated the land of origin, there were individuals called divine emperors, a total of 12 who had held the title. At that time, the creatures of the land of origin were generally very weak, with few cultivators from the 3,000 primordial cosmos coming through reincarnation to the land of origin. These 12 divine emperors, judging by current standards of strength, were only just becoming godly kings. But, as the eras passed, the territories of the natives had been greatly reduced, shrunk only to the area of East Extreme Domain. And the original 12 emperors, who had become godly kings in a short period in the early times, were now all in the second realm of godly king. Among them, the Empress of Fongdu was the most enigmatic. In the land of origin, godly kings in the second realm, those who can battle with emperors and monarchs, and are almost on equal footing, are few and far between. The Empress of Fongdu is one of them. Ordinary individuals in the second realm of godly king would be no match for emperors and monarchs. They'd likely be obliterated on the first strike. Yet the Empress of Fongdu was in existence almost equal to emperors and monarchs. Morosa thought, this Empress of Fongdu must be close to a pinnacle sector beast. Based on the information, this Empress of Fongdu has cultivated both the origin Dao of the world and the time primordial Dao to the second realm of godly king. Her cultivation inheritance remains unknown, LuoFeng inwardly sighed. With inheritance at the perfection level or special grade, it wouldn't be difficult for someone with the exceptional talents of the Empress of Fongdu to obtain them. Moreover, the natives of the East Extreme Domain have a mysterious ancestor watching over them. That ancestor naturally values the Empress of Fongdu, with her highest talents. The status of the Empress of Fongdu in the land of origin is thus imaginable. Even as a godly king, LuoFeng's gap with her remained very large. Not to mention that he was currently only in the primal chaos realm. Her friendliness surprised Luo Feng somewhat. Luo He, I've come here to invite you to join the organization I've created, Reincarnation Tower, the woman in green said as she looked at Luo Feng. Although I founded the Reincarnation Tower, all members are equal. I believe you've also heard about the Reincarnation Tower. Reincarnation Tower? Luo Feng had certainly heard of it. The Reincarnation Tower was a more niche power, much smaller in scale than the Two Realms Palace. That's because each formal member of the Reincarnation Tower was personally selected and invited by the Empress of Wind City, making them naturally rare. Yet, the reputation of the Reincarnation Tower was on par with the Two Realms Palace, Wanfa Tower and Timespace Lonely Boat. There are very few members in our Reincarnation Tower, the woman in green said, but each of them is quite remarkable. Do I qualify to enter the Reincarnation Tower? Luo Feng asked. He feared he would be at the bottom in terms of strength. Don't underestimate yourself, the woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Across the entire land of origin, you are a very impressive cultivator. Oh. Luo Feng was startled. Luo Feng certainly knew his own uniqueness. He had enslaved a sector beast, and with a pinnacle sector beast at his command, he could raise a powerful army and establish a god-king power in the future. Furthermore, Luo Feng himself had a perfect divine body, unlike any ever seen in the land of origin, and his small universe was beyond any other cultivators. Compared to these, the Lai Yuan technique was somewhat lesser. After all, there were others besides Luo Feng who possessed inheritances left by Yuan. Luo Feng was well aware of his uniqueness, but he had always kept it secret. Now, this Empress of Wind City saw such potential in him? But however high your talents, you still need resources to cultivate, the woman in green said. Like top inheritances, various rare treasures for assistance. Luo Feng agreed. Whether it was the 8 Tribulations life form, the extermination of 72 blades, or even more precious inheritances in the infinite space like the world life form, they were all of great help to him. The inheritances you've encountered so far are probably only of the first realm of Godly King, the woman in green said. The more precious the inheritances become, the more restricted they are. Some rare treasures, some powerful primordial bloodlines, are even harder to come by. A complete inheritance left by Yuan, even more difficult to obtain. A weapon that surpasses the God King realm is enough to start a war between two ancient countries. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Do you think you'll get them just because you have high talent? You don't feel it strongly now because you can still compete for some of the peripheral resources left by Yuan. But the more precious the resources, eventually you won't even have the qualifications to contend for them. Luo Feng fell silent. His master Emperor Chu had admitted as much. Have you heard of Godly King Luo He? The woman in green looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was taken aback. You haven't heard, right? The woman in green said with a smile. Places like Flame Wind Pavilion and Thunderclap Commerce will not spread such information, and they might even try to cover it up. Godly King Luo He was fully committed to the Flame Wind ancient country, a godly king who even advanced to the second realm of Godly King, the woman in green continued. He dedicated himself to the Flame Wind ancient country, never complaining. Even though the Imperial clan received far more resources than he didn't mind, he was satisfied. He had a wife, 3 sons and 2 daughters. He didn't wish to get involved in too many disputes, only wanting to nurture his children and focus on his cultivation. He believed that through dedicated cultivation he could reach even higher realms, the woman in green said. He was grateful to his master, Emperor Xian, for his assistance. But his talent was too high, and he managed to refine a powerful secret treasure left in the land of origin by Yuan, which was a weapon beyond the God King realm. With this secret treasure, he, being at the second realm of Godly King, could confront emperors and monarchs. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng, but what happened next? During a mission for the Flame Wind ancient country, he used this weapon secret treasure just once. Only once. 3 emperors acted at the same time. They forced him to hand over the secret treasure, threatening to slaughter his wife and children, his kin if he refused. The woman in green looked at Luo Feng, accustomed to retreating, used to suffering, he still endured. He handed over the secret treasure. Luo Feng sighed inwardly. In the moment of surrendering it, the woman in green smiled. The 3 emperors attacked. His wife, his children, his kin, and even all creatures in the entire city. All were slaughtered without exception. Godly King Luo He was also killed, the woman in green smiled. His master, Emperor Xian, learned of this later. But by then it was too late. Fortunately, Godly King Luo He was strong enough that before death, he managed to use the reincarnation secret technique. He reincarnated, the woman in green said. But when emperors act, his wife, his children, his kin, none had a chance at reincarnation. After his reincarnation he is now known as Emperor Gui Su, the woman in green said as she looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was shocked. Emperor Gui Su? So it was him. Emperor Gui Su, who called himself Emperor, was still slightly inferior to an actual emperor. But he seemed to have a blood feud with the Imperial clan of the Flame Wind ancient country, constantly in conflict and never ceasing. The Flame Wind ancient country's godly kings that died at the hands of Emperor Gui Su numbered 7 or 8 as well. Emperor Gui Su is a member of my Reincarnation Tower, the woman in green said. I established the Reincarnation Tower because I hoped that as comrades, we could support each other and transcend this reincarnation era. And I think you also have what it takes to be an official member of my Reincarnation Tower. So far, there are a total of 8 members in the Reincarnation Tower. The woman in green looked at LuoFeng. You are the 9th I have set my sights on, and the only one from the primal chaos realm I've invited to date. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.